Okay, today what we're going to do is build on that candy corn math that I talked about earlier in a previous video. And we're going to use area models and the lattice method to multiply one digit by 2, 3, or 4-digit numbers. Now, the one you have to know in 4th grade is this. I do show students this, and I encourage you to use it after you've mastered this. So, that being said, let's begin. Okay, an area model is basically a visual representation of how to multiply. It gives us the conceptual idea of what we're doing. So instead of saying 4 times 8, we'll recognize this as 4 times 8,000. So the way we begin is we count the number of digits in not our single digit number, in our other number. We have 4 of them. So we begin by creating the model itself. Now, logically, this will take the most room. It's the largest valued number. Then we create slightly smaller ones, and actually I know I'm going to need a little more room, so let me do that. Now we're going to also use expanded form. We write this number in expanded form over the top. This would be our ones place. We have 6, so we put a 6 over the top of that box. Now we have 3 in our tens place, which has a value of 30. We have 9 in our hundreds place. That's a value of 900. And as I already indicated, we have 8 in the thousands place, so that's a value of 8,000. Now, this is the largest problem that we'll do in 4th grade. Of course, if this just said 936, we could very easily just make 3 boxes and have 936. Now this single digit number goes to the left side of the box. And then we write our equations. The first equation would be 4 times 8,000. 4 times 900 is our second equation. 4 times 30 is our third equation. And 4 times 6 is our last one. Okay, now here's where we sort of go back to that candy corn math thinking. We take our whole numbers, we multiply them. So 4 times 8 is 32. And in simplicity, we can just make little arrows for now. We'll get pretty quick at just knowing that there are 3 remaining zeros, but we can put those 3 here. So 4 times 8,000 is 32,000. 4 times 9 is 36. Bring our 2 zeros down. We have 3,600. 4 times 3 is 12. And I will bring this 0 down, so I have 120. And 4 times 6 is 24. And I do not have any zeros, so I'm done. Now, to make a little room, I'm going to move this 4 a little closer. The last step is to add these digits, or these values rather, together. Now, I've encouraged and shown students how to make lined paper become math paper by using the side that makes it look like a kind of a landscape, and we have our lines vertically. This really is a big spot where people can make mistakes by getting offline, and if you do this, you avoid a lot of those mistakes. So I start with my largest number, then 3,600, and then I add 120, and then 24. Now, little line across the bottom. That makes it pretty straightforward. I have a bunch of zeros and a 4. 4. Zeros, 2 plus 2, 4. 6 plus 1 is 7. 2 plus 3 is 5. And I just bring this 3 down. And my final product is 35,774. Now the reason we teach it this way is so that we do understand conceptually what we're doing. Please do not show your kids the algorithm, the thing that I grew up with, the thing that you most likely grew up with. It will be taught to them in 5th grade. We focus on the conceptual model in 4th grade, and then 5th grade they learn the much faster method, but hopefully by then they understand what they're doing. Now, the lattice method, I'm okay with you using it again, but you have to know the area model. This one looks a little more complex. It's similar in structure. We are making 4 boxes, but the difference is this. We will create a diagonal line that extends through each one. The difference here is we take all the zeros out. This is similar to the algorithm actually, and I think it's a good way to help kids transfer from an area model into an algorithm. Now the difference is this. Instead of writing 8,000, we are just putting an 8, a 9, a 3, and a 6. Another difference is that rather than put this 4 to the left, we put it to the right. And the reason that we do that is because we're putting the answer in these spots, and we may need this spot, so we don't want to confuse things. Now, this is just single digit multiplication. On these boxes, let me put one up here. 10s go here, 1s go here. So when I say that, I mean 4 times 6 is 24. 2 10s, 4 1s. 4 times 3, 1 10, 2 1s, so 24, 12. 4 times 9 is 36. And 4 times 8 is 32. Now, the next step I always require of students is to cross these digits out because we're going to add and we don't want to accidentally add one of them. We're adding diagonally, so we begin by looking right here. Well, we only have a 4. And then we say 2 plus 2, that's 4. 6 plus 1, 7. 3 plus 2, 3 plus 2, 5. And then the 3 just shifts over here. And again, we've created our final product. Now I like this method. There are times where if you have to regroup, you will move up into the next diagonal. This tends to help kids that are very strong in math or that struggle a lot with math. Again, can't emphasize this enough. If you're concerned about testing at all, they have to know an area model. I don't spend a lot of time worrying about that. However, I do want kids to be prepared. So, what about a 0? What if there's a 0 in one of our factors? How do we contend with that? What I like to do is always in the model put that 0. So up here we have 3 1s. We put our 3 here. We don't have any 10s, but I do want to put it there. And the reason I say that is because if I don't, I may accidentally look at that as a 50 when I put it here instead of a 500. And it helps to avoid simple mistakes, correctable errors. The 8 goes over here. And then again, we write our equations. 8 times, and some people like to just get that out of the way and write it in all of their boxes. And then fill in 500. 0, 8 times 3, so we put a 3. Now, 8 times 5 is 40. Bring my zeros straight down, and I have 4,000. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 3 is 24. Now here's the difference. I like to have it in my area model, but there's no sense putting that in my addition equation. So I will just say 4,000 plus 24 to come up with my final product of 4,024. Okay. Just kind of review. Remember these. You have to know how to use the area model. Once you've shown me that you know how to do that, then I have no problem with you using the lattice method. And as we get towards the end of the year, some of you that are ready, certainly we can start to look at the algorithm. But as far as solving problems, this is right here, what you have to know. Line up your numbers carefully. Take that lined notebook paper and turn it so that the lines are all vertical, and then we don't make misalignment errors. And again, don't use the algorithm yet. It will not benefit you, and it will only confuse your children because they have so much thrown at them already that let's not add to the pile when we don't need to. That will be taught to them in 5th grade. Now, you try. Got 3 problems here for you. See what you can do.